Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick and mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I'm passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love, because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you are meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Inspire and Move podcast. I am your host, Ali Aruda, and today I am joined in studio with my favorite, with the hottest co-host, Matt Aruda.
In the flesh.
I had a different connection there for you.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Plot twist.
Keep me on my toes.
That's right. And today we are talking about networking, which is not a new topic for Matt and Ali on the Inspire and Move podcast. But we were chatting about this yesterday morning doing our cardio intervals, knowing that we were going to record today and that we wanted to bring it back to an episode about networking because that is something that we are so passionate about, but has also served us so well and continues to do so. And I think this has all been so timely because we are talking about some of our upcoming travel and things that we're excited about and networking opportunities in the upcoming months. And it just really had us paint back the perspective of why networking is so important and that it's really something that you want to work at, but you also earn. And that's what we're going to really be chatting about today and breaking down.
Yeah, I think people have to almost look at networking as not being a one and done thing where you go to one event or you go to even two events and you think that that effort is enough to call yourself connected or to have earned yourself a network in that respect. I think what we're talking about is playing the long game and really developing and maintaining relationships. This isn't so much the conversation about, getting into your local BIA and handing out your business cards and collecting other business cards or throwing out a million invites on LinkedIn or whatever it is and having that be your so-called network per se. That's not a network anymore, right? Like those are connections. Those are kind of, I know someone who knows someone, but that doesn't and will not serve you when the chips are down and you need somebody in your corner, right?
I feel like the idea of networking, and maybe some of you listening or watching or even thinking of the word networking and you think of hello, my name is stickers that you put on you use, like the blue Sharpie and then you put it on your blazer and you put your business card in a fishbowl, which sounds a bit weird and who knows what's going to happen with that. But that is not what we're chatting about. And that has not really been anything that Matt and I have done. Certainly not together, but even in my past careers prior to entrepreneurship, I didn't network like that. And what we do now is very much, to your point, relationship building and relationship nurturing.
Mm-hmm. We're not collecting contacts, we're collecting connections, right? And we're trying to be the epicenter of where the connections come to, because you want to be someone's first thought when they need what it is that you're so great at. When your skill set comes to their mind as the first option, when they need what you do, that's how you know your networking was successful. And they don't have to go through their Rolodex of cards to find a plumber or name the service here, right? It doesn't really matter what it is. You want your name. There's a quote out there where you want your name to enter a room way before you ever enter the room. And that's very true. As long as, of course, you're doing it with authenticity and you've got the proper set of morals and scruples with how and why you're having your name enter that room first, that's the key. It takes real long-term effort and consistent touch points to make sure that you're top of mind for anybody who needs what it is that you do so well.
Well, and I think even looking at it from the lens that these are people that you are wanting to collect the, networking abundance from, that they're people and not just stories or contacts, that they have a story of their own and they have a business and they have a network, and we always want to be building our network for our network. And I remember one of the first times I heard that was at Brendan Bouchard's event, and he is a master marketer, a networker.
Talk about connections, right?
Oh my gosh, and just a wonderful human. And you get to know him more through his contacts and events and everything, that what he does, he's so passionate about bringing people together. And that is a result of networking for your network. And that's where I first heard it, but we've heard it on a bunch of our favorite podcasts.
Yeah.
And it's something that rings so true. So consider this just passing the message and paying it forward with the gentle nudge and reminder that, yes, you want to build a network for yourself for when you need something and you want to call in what it is that you need, but also always thinking of how you can work for your network and how you can support them and put money in their pockets, and that reciprocity always coming around.
That's the exact word, right? There's going to be a reciprocal energy here where you don't do something for the sake of having that person owe you, right? You're not necessarily depositing only for the means of taking a withdrawal out at some point, right? There's a way in which you lead with this, and if there is an authenticity to it, if there's a genuine wanting to hype up your crew, to hype up your connections so that you can share how great they are with other people, if that comes from a place of just genuine authenticity, then the idea is, more often than not, the shoe will fit on the other foot there too, where your name will come up in conversation when somebody else is looking for what it is that you do well. And if you have created your connections properly, then they will have no issues in making sure that your name is the first name that they share with whoever it is that is in their own circle. And that is the genuine definition of creating your network, right? You have almost like an affiliate program in that sense,
oh
right?
My gosh.
Where you've got people who are in your circle who are tight connections to you because of the years you've put in, who have their own relationships elsewhere, who have put in the time with this other entirely different circle of people that you've never met. But if it comes from their mouth that you need to trust Allie or you need to trust Matt in this or that, because of who it's coming from and because of the social power that person has within their circle already, because it's been earned, then you've cut through the line already, right? Like it becomes a shortcut that you're not having to necessarily re-earn or trying to reprove. I see it all the time, even in sales. So you have somebody who you've done sales with for years and years, and they've bought your product for years and years, and they become your greatest affiliate out there in the quote unquote real world, in their own circles with their own families. And not only is it an easy way for you to keep on running with what you do well in somebody else's network, it's also free. So you're collecting on two ends here, where not only are you being shared with from the most genuine space possible, which is someone's own experience with what it is that you've offered, but it didn't cost you a thing other than just being genuine and consistent with your touch points up to that point.
It's so interesting what I'm hearing and what's kind of dropping in for me as we have this conversation about networking and relationship building is also customer service. And I think of your years of experience working with Porsche, and you built these amazing relationships, and then you retired effectively from that world and went into a different career path. Obviously, we had our world of entrepreneurship and still do. And now you've re-entered the Porsche game in a very different role with a different organization. And all of those relationships that you have built, those people that you have served and thought of and over-delivered for, are coming back.
Yeah, and not only are they coming back, we picked up right where we left off. You don't have to rebuild the house from the foundation up again. If you did a good job in the years where you overserved, right, where you gave more than what you expected back, when you listened more than what you spoke, those are the balances there, right? You're bang on. It's service based, right? Everything in every industry is sales and service based, and if you knock out the service component really well, the sales just naturally falls into place. I'll give you a quick story. I have, and I know you know this, so it's more so for our audience, but there was a girl that I used to work with back in 2015, 16, 17, maybe 18. Either way, we're talking like 10 years ago. And she, at that point at our dealership, she was our deal clerk. So she would do all of the things directing a car landing on the ground to when it was sold to the next client. And she was a great girl, hard worker, all the rest. And so I treated her with nothing but respect and And I was very thankful for what she did for us, because it makes a big difference to have me be able to do my job smoothly and without thinking about it. And I made sure she knew that, and I made sure that she was recognized accordingly whenever I could. But I didn't think anything of it. It's just kind of how I went around anybody that did anything that helped my job to be easier. She ends up leaving the business, at least the industry that I was in, the building that I was in, back in 2018-19. I have not heard from this girl in 5 years, 6 years. She sends me a message earlier this year out of the blue and says, "Hey, I heard you're still working in some sort of capacity in Porsche sales. Is that true?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "I have a client of mine. She has gone into vehicle brokering on her own, completely independent now. And I have a client of mine who's looking to get into the Porsche world. He's from the other side of the country. He hasn't had any success with anybody in the GTA, in the Toronto area, from buying a vehicle. And he's about ready to throw his hands up and say, I'm never going to buy a car from the GTA again. I'm going to stick somewhere else." And she said, "Before you do that, reach out to this guy that I knew a few years ago who always did things properly, and we'll look after you, because that's what he did consistently." And so she gives me his phone number. I get on the phone with him, and it's really more just a discovery call, and we hit it off. And lo and behold, in the course of the last 5 months, this gentleman's gone on to purchase almost $2.5 million worth of cars. And that is a whale of a client, but none of that happens. That opportunity to earn any of that business, it doesn't even get off the ground if 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, I wasn't a good enough person to want to genuinely and intentionally want to create my network from a place of authenticity and just being a good person. Mm-hmm. And here we are 10 years later, and that's what we're talking about with the long game, right? Your idea of, hey, here's my business card, call me when you need me, that's never getting off the table. Like that business card is probably thrown out before that guy gets back to his car, quite frankly, right? You have to plant the seeds, over-deliver, never expecting to get anything back at all, quite frankly. But when they do, all the work's already been done. Mm-hmm. It's like literally like planting the seeds, and then the harvest takes care of itself.
I love that you have said this a few times now, referencing over-deliver.
Yeah.
And that's a hot topic in our relationship, our household, and the conversations that we have, and the conversations that we have with some of our high-level friends, that you always want to be able to over-deliver when it comes to a relationship. I think about this a lot for myself when working with brand partners. I work with a select few, and I want to ensure that I over-deliver on content is one thing, and that's certainly very important, and that's really like the why they would partner with me, is to have this content or access to my audience. But I work with such a small percentage of partners that I want to, be such champions for them, and I want to over-deliver because I want money to go into their pocket, into their business with real customers. And better yet, if it's reoccurring customers and reoccurring revenue for their business, because it's no secret, you're in business to be in business and make money and grow. And it's something that I really believe in. And I think also if you can think about that in your relationships as well. So let's even break it down as sort of like some hot takes for people when it comes to expert tips for networking. And let's talk about over-delivering being number one.
Yeah, over-delivering has to be your number one thing. I think if you're trying to calculate an ROI before you've deposited anything, if you're already thinking, I'm only going to do this so that I can get this, it'll never get off the ground. And people know that. People can smell that, right?
We've seen that. We can see some of those relationships with our own eyes. We're like, oof, icky.
Yeah, icky, right? Absolutely. And not only do you not want to deal with them, but you sure as hell also make sure that the closest people in your circle also steer clear of them too. Mm-hmm. Because people in your circle are in your circle for a reason. You guys have some sort of a connection in and of itself. You follow very similar morals, values, all the rest. And more often than not, if it's not a fit for you, it's typically not a fit for your entire circle. Conversely, if you do find somebody, I was just saying this to somebody the other day. Whenever
was it me?
No. It was somebody at the gym, and I remember saying to them. Actually, it was my barber, and so we were talking about how it's very difficult to find people who really know the customer service game. And when you find somebody who genuinely enjoys looking after you because they're so good at what they do, or they want to ensure that you're going to come back again and give them a 5-star review and so on and so forth, and they're typically small business owners more often than not, right? Like these people bleed and sweat their own business. And all that said, I remember us talking about this and him saying how there's so few and far between. And I said, yeah, no, I absolutely agree. When you find these people in whatever walk of industry they're in, whether it be a server at a restaurant or your barber or your hairdresser, you find anybody at a car dealership, a lawyer, your dentist, it doesn't matter, whomever it is that you need and rely on a relationship for to serve you to be a better person. When you find that person who allows you to be a better version, holy crap, you hold on for the lifeblood of it, right? Because you know that more often than not, just think about like your last great customer service experience. They're few and far between, right? You get one good one in between every 10 mediocre / shitty ones. And for some people, they don't care. For some people, they're just there to collect a paycheck. It's black and white. They follow a rule book. There is no common sense in the discussion component of this. So when you find somebody who you can trust and somebody who you would feel more than happy to share with your circle, you hold on to those people forever, quite frankly.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And that's even a nice little adjacent note about, when it comes to sales and business, again, people are in business to be in business, is people buy and do business with people that they know, that they like, and they trust. So if you are actively building your network, you are over delivering and really focusing on the deposit structure before withdrawals. And I feel like we heard Jeff Fenster speak about that at one of the events that we invested in for last year, really breaking down the difference between deposits and withdrawals. And if you guys are listening to this, watching this, and you're visual, maybe even just thinking about that, of how you're depositing energy into a relationship and nurturing that relationship and over delivering and providing that value before you ask for something. And, we've been going through some big changes in our life, and we're working with someone who we have made a lot of deposits in, and then we are going to have a withdrawal for a great experience because of that, because of building and nurturing that relationship and what that means.
And that's a really great point too. Where you are making these deposits and for the length of time in which you are making these deposits, you're typically initially doing it to serve you first, right? And there becomes a point where you want to continue to be connecting and connected because you know that at some point it's also going to serve a larger version of yourself, a greater scale of what it is that you can bring to the table. So in that breath, I think to myself, these networking events that we've been a part of, that we've actually even created in the course of the last few years, some of which are literally in our backyard, truly in our backyard. There's a whole bunch of them where relationships are created and partnerships are created between two people that would have never have known each other. And that didn't happen the first time they met each other. They didn't meet each other in our backyard with a glass of Prosecco and say, you know what, let's be business partners because I like your shoes. Like these are things where you've got to build on it. And ultimately it takes not just the trust muscle, but it's like dating, right? Like you're never typically going to think you're marrying this person after one date. You're going to have to continue depositing into that and ensure that as you're growing through whatever you're growing, that this potential partner, whatever it be, business or otherwise, is growing with you. And those are some of the bonuses that come out of the consistent deposits and nurturing of those relationships and any of the networking opportunities that you walk into.
And I think going into those networking opportunities with eyes wide open and not necessarily, signing up for something, be like, this event is a networking event. You can approach anything with networking. We talk about Benchmark all the time being an amazing spot for networking, and it's a gym. You come in here to better yourself 1% better every day by lifting heavy weights and moving your body and getting that heart rate up. And it's a gym. That is the vessel. That is the container that we've created. But out of that container, we have seen so many relationships, some romantic, friendships, but also business. So looking at anywhere in your life could be an opportunity to grow your network.
And I think also, reaching out to anybody, speaking to somebody about something without an agenda or without an end game, that becomes much more attractive to the person. Nobody likes to feel like they're being sold to, right?
Right.
So if you're ability to connect with somebody is simply just nothing other than, hey, I like the way that you're wearing your hair today. Now, be careful who you say this to.
Yeah. This day and age.
Yeah, but if it's something as superficial as that, and that's where it starts off from and grows accordingly from there, it's going to take a lot of touch points, obviously, before there's any ROI in any capacity, but it will happen organically if it's meant to happen. And if it isn't, it doesn't mean that it was a failure. It just means that you have more networking to do and continue to do so. And it typically doesn't come all out of one room. I mean, we're a perfect example where how many rooms have we been in? How many rooms have we created that we want to bring people into to meet more people, new walks of life, different industries altogether, all of which still serve to help one another move forward in whatever it is that they're doing within their own specific industry. But to do it with others is a lot faster and more enjoyable than doing it by yourself.
Well, it's more collaborative, and you're instantly setting yourself up for success because first you've taken the action step to be in that room and make that investment. But second, you are getting into a room with 8 people, 12 people, 20, 40, you know, depending on the size of the room, that there's a whole network builder right there.
Yeah.
And you're killing 2 birds with one stone.
And you know, I find that you're amazing at this, like top tier in this. One of the ways in which you become somebody's go-to referral source is when you become the person who brings 2 other people together, right? Like when you're the glue, when you're the connecting piece of 2 other people that go on to have great success with one another in whatever capacity it is. It's not that they necessarily owe you, because they don't. They're the ones who created the magic, but the opportunity to make that magic was brought on by you, and that doesn't get forgotten, right? And at least there's a whole other sense of almost wanting to make sure that you are going to be looked after the way you went out of your way to look after them moving forward. And I think that that's an important part too. There's a massive power in being the aggregator in anything, right? And so from a networking standpoint, yes, it's wonderful for you to join a room or 2 or 10 in the course of the next year, but if you have the ability to be the magnet that brings multiple people together in the same place, that is infinitely more powerful, big picture.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, or just to add to that, is because I appreciate the compliment, thank you, and the recognition, and I'm quite proud of that, and I will stand in confidence to say, like, yes, I am really good at that, but it also comes from a joyful place, and that's what I want to share, is that if you are this person, you are the glue that makes these connections and these contacts, make sure it is coming from a true place, because if it's not, someone on either end or the outside will sense that. People are really intuitive.
Yeah, that smells, right?
Yes, and that if there's a referral fee on the other end, that you know that, okay, if I connect Matt with Jess, then I know that I'm going to make $500 or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
The people can sense that, and it kind of goes back to what you were saying about people don't like being sold to.
Correct, and they also know that your intentions aren't true, right? Like the reason you're doing it is for you, not them.
And everything has an energy to it. And so if you are someone who sits in an energy and you are, proud of who you are and you constantly are working 1% better every single day to be the best version of yourself, and that is poured into your relationships, that is poured into your network, and you're always thinking about how you can better serve your network and the people around you, that will pay off in spades for everybody. Everybody wins.
In that breath.
Ooh, share our news.
Yeah,
this is the first time we've talked about it.
I think so.
Other than
it's funny
Instagram
because
teasers.
It's interesting because we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. This podcast opportunity or title that we're working with through here on this episode specifically didn't really come to us until yesterday. But I feel like it's a perfect opportunity to share the opportunity that we want to have everybody take advantage of, right? Or as many people as they can. So what does that look like?
So it looks like that Matt and Allie's Get in the Room One Day Mastermind is coming back for a 2nd season.
We don't know the date yet. It's going to be early August, I think.
It's looking like, we did a poll. We asked the people to choose. First, we asked the venue about availability, and I got the green light on both. So it is looking like Thursday, August 14th.
You know what? This is the first time I'm hearing that. So there you go.
So mark your calendar, babe.
I'll make sure I'm free. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And that's kind of leading to my point that I just made, and that obviously you've made as well, where you've got to do something different, obviously, if you expect there to be something different. And if you've never been in a room before, or even if you have been in a room before, these things move you forward a hell of a lot quicker, not because of somebody like a you or I that might be leading the room. The magic, the power, all of it comes from everybody else's different experience in their own industry that happen to be in that room, who have done the things that you are looking to do, or know the person who can help you get to where it is you're trying to get to so much faster. So you save money, and you save time, and you save heartache, and all of it allows you to just move through this shortcut of getting from A to B with avoiding as much of that messy middle and that is possible. At least there's always going to be a bit of a messy middle, but if this allows you to cut out a good chunk of it because of the power of the other people that have literally done it before you in that same room as you, then tell me that's not worth your day's worth to push your business forward incrementally thereafter.
And one thing I will just add to that, because it has been so prominent in our conversation and in the space, we have a few people that are members at Benchmark that came to our mastermind last year, and Matt referenced the long game, and so much in life and business is the long game. And so a bunch of these girls that we've been having conversations with came to the mastermind last year. It's a co-ed event. This just happens to be an example with all women. And they have been playing the long game and putting in the reps, taking action for the past year. And there has been so many beautiful success stories that has come
been crushing it
out of their investment, but that it has taken a year. And not a year of like, oh, then the results will happen. No, you have to put the reps in, you have to take action, and that is when the growth happens. Growth and change don't come from not taking action. If you want to grow and change, you have to take action steps to grow and change.
And spoiler alert, 1 year into it, they are crushing versus what they were doing, say, 12 months ago, but they're nowhere near done, right? They're still continuing to build their own networks and their own connections and their own product suites and so on and so forth. That allows them to be more available to their own community and growing. But to hear them, to see them be as excited as they are, coming from the first step for at least two of them that I'm thinking of, where this was the very first thing that they did on their entrepreneurial journey 12 months ago. Literally the first thing. They took a flyer on it with good intentions, and a year later they have their own businesses, some of which are in a physical space that doesn't necessarily live on a website. Like, they took real risks and have put in real money and time to push it through to where they are now. And they should be really proud, but none of that happens until they decide to reach out for help and find a network to grow them accordingly.
Yes. So we don't have the website to drop in the show notes just yet, but we're pretty easy to find. Matt Aruda, Ali Aruda on Instagram. Everything will be linked in the show notes in terms of where to find us. Shoot us a message if you're interested and you want to chat. We are so excited to share information soon, but you guys are hearing this first, and so is Matt.
Yeah, evidently.
So mark your calendars. We would love to have you. There will be limited spots because we want to have massive impact for everybody that is in the room. So thank you for joining us for today's episode, all about networking, one of our favorite topics, and something that we have been so passionate about and so grateful for because it has so positively changed our lives and business.
And continuing to do so.
Yep. So sending you all lots of love, lots of gratitude for supporting the Inspire and Move show. If you have a minute and you can leave a little 5-star rating and review, I would be extra grateful. But until next time, we will see you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean so much to me if you took a few seconds and shared this on social media, sent it to a friend, or left a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I'm so grateful to have you part of mine.